Welcome to the Sun CSA table where we
That's fine. I took about this table, right?
No, we are not talking about this table. This is a podcast for discussing nutrition issues. We welcome you to listen, come and learn, and connect.
Social media handles.
Yes. Like, follow, subscribe,
connect with us.
Welcome to the Sun CSA table, where we learn, we listen, but more importantly, we connect. Today's conversation is a special one. I'll be your host, Edgar Okoth Onyango, and we'll be having a conversation with a very special guest today. The guest that we have is a global leader, but also someone who is known to me for a long time. He has expertise across advocacy, communication, partnership, and policy. And we are going to explore a journey. So you'll take us down memory lanes, where it all started, how it's going right now, and where you see it heading. Yeah. Without wasting time, allow me to... so much.
We started. Already started.
Okay. No, you need to introduce yourself. Yes, and tell us something about who you are beyond the global recognition on leadership. So, who are you?
Yeah, thank you so much, Edgar. And it's a good opportunity to be here at this podcast. And thank you for the opportunity from Sun. Sun CSA, a very, a good collaborative platform for us to engage, especially on matters of nutrition. And I'm happy to be here.
Yes.
So my name is Dancliff Mbura, and I'm a nutritionist by profession, trained. I did my Bachelor of Science in food nutrition dietetics from Egerton University. I wanted to do that. Egerton University, we serve. So I'm here serving. And of course, with an urge, then of course I was very good in sciences. Biology was one of the subjects I liked, and I was very interested on the area of nutrition when I was going through Form 2, introduction on nutrition. Then I realized nutrition in animals, nutrition in, plants and all those kind of things. And I was very interested because I realized without food across the animals and plants, life is almost non-existent.
Yes.
So of course that urge led me to the university. I finished in around 2008, graduated. Then I was here looking, what do I do? How do I, jumpstart? Yes. Opportunities were not, of course, always opportunities are very limited. So I did a bit of things here and there, and then there was an opportunity that came from Samburu, which I thought that time, Samburu being one of the counties that in the news you hear on insecurity, I had to make a lot of my decision. That time I was at Nakuru Provincial General Hospital, how it was called then, or the County Referral Hospital. And we were doing something, supporting the comprehensive care clinic, CCC, then for the children, pediatric, they're supporting children to acquire good nutrition. Then when I got the opportunity, I went to Samburu. Of course, I had to tie my hat. Wanasema unafunga roho. I had to go to Samburu. Then when I reached there, I realized it's a good county. Then it was a district. It's a good place. Then 2009, I'm here. Then what had happened then is that in 2008 and 2009, remember there was a drought then, and there were so many people that were affected, and mostly children and pregnant and lactating women. And then is it the Kenya for Kenyans time, or this came year after? I think it was during Kenya for Kenya, that time. I remember Kenya Red Cross running Kenya for Kenya.
Yes.
And that time, I think it was during that period, because I think that is when you look through the data. I was going through, the food security and nutrition numbers for the last course from 1970. I realized in 2009, 2007, 2008 until 2010, that's when we had the highest numbers. In fact, it's indicated that over 10 million people were affected with these droughts. Of course, food security and all that. So then we had that period, there was distribution of food. Remember that time, nutrition was not very, it was the time that nutrition, especially on the treatment, was coming up, using of a corn soy blend. We were mixing up food here and there. So what happened during that time is that there was within the supplementary feeding program, in the movement of food, the movement of the corn and soy blend, now the supplementary foods, it was done by they used to call them cooperating partners. Yes, so people were given, they were doing the general distribution, the food. How do you call them? There was the support to the communities. They were providing food, actual food. They were giving grains and they were providing rations. Then when the management of acute malnutrition came, then the same logistic companies or people that were moving the food were also moving the supplementary foods. Then it was realized, because supplementary foods, it was key for the treatment of acute malnutrition, then there was a requirement that they needed to have a nutritionist. So then that's when we came in. So that time around 2007.
Yes, I'll just cut you short. So for those who are listening, during that time, the Kenya for Kenyans, it was an opportunity for every Kenyan to contribute. Those who contributed 1 shilling, those who contributed 5 shillings, people contributed at different points because it was really a bad drought. Personally, I think I contributed more than 3 or 4 times. Yes, because it was not limiting you. Each time you had something, then you had to be able to contribute. But then at that point, because I know you are at the thick of it, if you will say, and did you ever at one point imagine that you will want to do that work for a long time?
Yeah, you see, what happened then, that the conditions were bad.
Yes.
And because a lot of children, and I think it was the first time that treatment was being taken to the community, and even the health facilities, it was seriously being looked at. So I think at that very specific time, my thinking was more like, how do we ensure that we are able to get as many affected children that are malnourished into treatment?
Yes.
So at that time, it's just to ensure that things are moving, systems are working.
Yes.
Because food was being moved in lorries, because then you were doing the corn soy blend, it's pre-cooked food, supplements, and then of course with the oil. So you have to pre-mix it together, and then issue rations to the both children and the pregnant and lactation women. So the very thing at that level was to ensure that the community is receiving the services. But what we were also trying to check through, how do we ensure that we are helping communities come out of malnutrition? Of course, what is it that we can be able to do then? So I remember I was there, I didn't work for that organization for long.
Yes.
Then at that time, there was an organization called International Medical Corps. If I can mention it. It was
Famously known as IMC.
Famously known as IMP. So what happened is that for the first time, through the support from the United States, it was called OFTA. I think that time there was a support to OFTA.
Yes.
We received some money to do the REP implementation. So that was the first time that we were looking at how do you help build the systems within the nutrition? Because nutrition was being almost a parallel program within the health facilities. Yes, so you could go, partners are having somewhere where they are seated providing nutrition services, screening and providing the supplements, and the other health services were different. So at that time, the question was, how do we integrate nutrition services within the general, within the health system.
Yes.
And that is when the first Imam Breadley came.
What is this animal called, Imam?
Yeah, it's talking about Imam. Someone might think talking about some animal. Where is it?
So what happened for that time is that there was piloting of integrated management of acute malnutrition guideline.
Yes.
If you look at the first guideline, is indicated June 2009.
Yes.
So I participated in the actual piloting of that. We worked in Samburu that time.
Yeah.
So then the first approach was to train health workers.
Okay.
On all the aspects of management of acute malnutrition.
Yeah.
Everything. So that's when people realize that management of acute malnutrition is not a food thing.
Yes.
It's actually a medical thing.
Yes.
And of course integrated with food.
Yes.
And of course, when you're talking about food at that level of when the person is malnourished, then you're only not talking about food.
Yes.
It's either supplemental or therapeutic.
Yes.
Because it's serving a purpose in terms of treatment of the children or the pregnant lactating women.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is, we came out, of course, integration was, and then the nurses, the clinic officers, the doctors, everyone started seeing the need.
Okay.
One of the critical things that was there then was, there was reported that especially management of the children that are severely malnourished, like especially the children with edema.
Yeah.
What
is it? What? Odi?
There's something of it. It is an assumption you're making. Everyone knows all these terms. Try to break this down.
I need to break down. Yeah, edema, people know swellings. This is swellings.
No, but elephantiasis, it's called the elephantiasis. There's this disease that also
Elephantiasis here.
swelling that also makes your feet swell. So if you say swelling,
so let me just try and break it. Is that of course within the practice is that of course we know edema and mostly bilateral edema that affects the limbs and the arms. You have swellings, a lot of accumulation of fluids, but we know edema could be because of so many things. Could be inflammation or a disease. But usually when you talk bilateral edema, so that you have edema on both feet or both arms or both the feet and hands. When it's bilateral, it usually it's edema due to malnutrition.
Yeah.
And what happened is that there's a lot of changes that has happened in the body in terms of biochemical processes until now you have retention, the liver functioning, all those, so that you have retention of fluids. So of course, when you have somebody that has edema, bilateral edema, that is edema because of malnutrition, it just indicates that systems are now in a very, they're reducted, like they're very functioning of the system is so compromised. Yeah. So then in the treatments, you'll find that because of the treatment regime that was then, they could still, doctors and everyone could still, the treatment still infuse all those kind of things. So it will leading to fluid of, a lot of accumulation of fluids in the body.
So Dancliff, studies you 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
But there is someone who is watching and is asking themselves, why did Dancliff decide to do nutrition? Maybe just walk us back a little bit in the early days. Yeah. You said you are good in biology and some sciences. Why nutrition? Maybe from primary, you must have been good in some things, then decided to select that you're going to do high school, you want to do all the 3 sciences, and then go to Egerton, and then out of all the courses that were applying, because I know you might have selected something different in Form 4, then you go to Egerton and you say, out of all this, I'm going to do nutrition. So just walk us just walk us through that journey. Why? Is this something that you had right from primary or you met it in college? What happened in between here?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like any child in Kenyans probably.
Or what did you want to be
Many things.
in primary?
Many things.
I remember I wanted to be like 6 different things in primary.
Many things. In fact, I remember at some point that people came to our primary school and they were asking us, we were writing something up and they were asking, what do you like to eat?
Yes.
I think at that time I dedicated, I wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
But he read it, I think because of my handwriting, he read it as faster. But I didn't even object. No, he came up faster, but I didn't object. So it was, but initially I wanted to be a doctor.
Yes.
Then growing, looking at, my father used to love mathematics.
Yes.
But I didn't as much do very well in mathematics. But I did well enough to ensure that I go to, I advance. But doctor, their engineer at some point, an accountant. I remember at some point when I was now in around Form 3. So when we are selecting courses, I selected accounting. So I was looking at myself as an accountant. But what I was open around is that I really, really love sciences.
Okay.
And I selected, that time I think even now that you were to do a minimum of 2 sciences.
Yes.
But I did 3 sciences. So mine was anything that is more science oriented will be key. And I said, I was also interested in nutrition within the biology. I was very interested. Then one thing that also brought me closer to nutrition, there is one of my cousins, and the first cousin in our within my father's household. The eldest of the cousins got the first one. He admitted into university, and he was admitted to do food science and technologies. So this food science and technology sounded like a very good thing to us then. So as he was doing his university, so when I went to, because we were to go and revise our courses at the Nairobi University.
Yes.
So I went there with my father, and we didn't have an idea of what. So there were many courses, and of course, cluster points also was another problem.
Yes.
At some point, I wanted to be engineering. I couldn't hit the cluster. Medicine, of course, you went out of option because of the cluster points. Then I looked at it. I wanted to do building and construction. I think I met the cluster point. Yes. But my dad being having been in the building industry, yes, the masons, he objected me to do anything building because he had seen how they had suffered through and in the hands of the foreman.
Yes.
So he looked at me and said, "You also want to work here?" He looked at the suffering. So then with my father, we made a decision that this food and science looks something good. Then at that period, I'd also thought through, because we were hearing about Pascal counties, people suffering, and arid and arid, and food was a big problem. And then I felt that at that point, probably I can intervene. I can do something. I can do something. So,
yeah, that is how. So it is something that we really had right from because I also remember, us also joining college, the cluster nutrition, food science, nutrition and technology really had high points. Yes. You couldn't just go there. You couldn't just go in. Like, guess what to walk in and what you do, and you had to meet the points.
Yes, and the decision was when I looked at it. And at first, of course, the very confusion that I had in Egerton when I was getting there is that I know there are many people who changed and went to other courses, but I was very focused on this because I still felt it's something that I can impact on the community. But I realized that when I was there, when they were doing the onboarding of the first years, and then I'm looking at my admission is starting with ED. ED means education. Yes, in Egypt. And I'm like, why am I in education? Because I asked that question during the orientation, and I asked then the vice chancellor and the team that were here, why am I in education? When I look at food and nutrition, it could be more something on agriculture maybe, or health.
Yeah.
In fact, for me, I favored the health because of the nutrition and athletics component. You know what? Later, I think before I left, I saw that transitioning. We transitioned from education to health.
Oh, okay.
Currently, nutrition is. So I think that's why I started my advocacy.
Same to University of Nairobi. The University of Nairobi. Yeah, it's under agriculture. Yes. School of Agriculture. I mean, the College of Agriculture and Veterinary Sciences. But it is Bachelor of Science. You know, your first year and second year, do you know where you frequent? You frequent Chiromo.
Yeah, GBS.
It means that you do a lot of science
On the other side.
and you continue doing the sciences. So yes, I agree with you. I mean, it's something that really needs to be looked at in terms of where do we place it? Because in different colleges or in different universities, you find that it is placed in different colleges. Yes, ours was in agriculture, yours was in education. There are some that are in community health and, you know, yes, it's something that really needs to be harmonized. So yeah, you're saying that's where you started your advocacy from, but at least you saw the results at the end of the day. Yeah, so just fast forward, coming back to 2008. And I know sometimes when you go through these experiences, there are people who say, no, this is not something that I want to do. Because I remember my own experience. When I started clinical nutrition, I did it for 7 months and I said, no, this is not something that I want to do. Yes? What really struck you that you said that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
Yeah, so now...
Just give us that experience that, I mean, what is it that you saw or what is it that you went through that told you that, you know what, this is something I'm going to stick with?
Yeah, I remember when now I'm in Samburu trainings, now we've started working. I was with the then district nutrition officer.
Yes. The DNOs.
The DNOs, I can mention when Msao, no, basically when the Benson Msao, when he hears, he gave us a text.
Yeah.
So Msao can, probably one time you just call Msao here, he's a very, very good person, man.
Yeah. Listening, you are next.
I'm sorry. So we were there working with Msao, and then I went there, it was a bit chaotic because you know, the way the supplements, they were more like full because you could see flour and, you know, the oil here. As much as you're talking about, this is supplementary food. There are those that's community that are coming there and they're looking like it. So we try to organize. We try to organize that. And I talked from FAU just recently. And what's kind of, you know, he told me that one of the innovations that we brought in Kenya is that I told him, Sau, looking at this work, as a health worker, we are not like in me. I was working with a partner.
Yes.
You work in the government, but to seem alone, you know, there's a lot of work. So I think there were some nutritionists that were employed then under UNICEF, and their contracts were coming to an end. I told Musau, the best we can do now is let's bring on board some community health volunteers, some people to come and help us in measurements and also in issuing of food, especially premixing. And that's how we were able to deal with the numbers.
Yes.
So looking at how we were able to manage the numbers, because I think for a day we were almost doing like 200 people. So you have to do the measurements, weight, height, everything, and then premix, do the entry, give them a TCA. Remember there are those,
So what is this? We keep throwing this comes.
almost the TCA to come what?
The date of next return.
To come again, and take it from the something. When they are the one, it's long. To come again. Yeah, I'm really getting it. I have to bring. So doing everything and doing and we had a challenge because food was a problem.
Yeah.
So you could have mothers exchanging babies. And we could see this baby, I saw this baby, can I see the mother? So it was very critical for us to try and to normalize everything. It was we were to try and normalize everything. No?
So the mothers wanted to have as much as possible using the same baby.
You know, you have one baby, and we realized and that's how we had to take some information back that if you're starving this baby because you to ensure that you have food. So they used to do this. You have the child, the child comes again with another lady, with another grandmother, with another one. So we had, when I looked at it and I said, okay, there's a problem here. So then we started now giving them cards. Yes. So when you're coming back, you come with a card. Okay. Of course, over time, we were able to give them information, understand why this is being done, and of course, we were also able to link them to the general food distribution, the relief food, and of course, at least I knew I was also part of the team that was working on the relief food, so try and diffuse that. So we worked on that, and they came through. So the question that you asked, that like, how did I know that this is what I want to do now? I realized that the impacts I'm creating and that the people, how the number of people that I'm seeing coming, I felt that this is something that I want to continue to do and continually support the community to address this issue of malnutrition.
Yeah, so, it's, when you're talking, I'm just trying to diffuse the importance of communication in all this, because had you not communicated well to the mothers, they would have not understood why they don't need to starve a baby for their own benefits. But also issues to do with advocacy are also really, really critical. You said you started advocacy way back and in college, because that's one thing that I really wanted us to zoom in, because, personally, I do a lot of advocacy. I'm not sure whether I do some communication, but I believe I do. But from your own understanding, what's the difference between communication and advocacy? Or they're the same thing?
Oh, yeah.
So the reason why I ask this is sometimes I also get confused in it, because then at what point am I saying I'm doing advocacy? And at what point am I saying I'm doing communication? And at what point am I saying I'm doing behavior change?
Yeah, thank you. A little bit unpack it myself. Yes, what I know is that advocacy is a means of achieving change. So if you want to achieve change in terms of, practices, sometimes you want to influence something, especially for the purpose of advocacy, you want to influence budgets, you want to influence decisions, all those kind of things. So that's what you do to achieve that becomes advocacy. So, of course, advocacy will be like, I want to ensure that, or I want to see that the government is putting more money on this program. Or the government is introducing this program because based on the research that we're seeing, the data that we have is that this is a very critical and priority. So if we invest here, we'll be able to achieve it. So advocacy is just that achieving change. You want to create change, achieve a change, influence, all those kind of things. So for the purpose of here now within advocacy, communication, that means that you want to deliver that information. So, for example, if you're doing a project, we're doing an advocacy brief, the content within an advocacy brief is now what you want to do. That is the advocacy content. But how you package it, it's a preview. Sometimes you want to go to the radio. Sometimes you want to do, how do you call them? You want to do flyers, all those kind of things. That becomes our communication. And the two are very critical. But of course, you need content. What is it that you want to change? And then how to deliver that now becomes your tool. And one of the tools will be communication. So sometimes you could hear strategic communication, whatever it is, but communication becomes now the means of delivering that information so that you achieve that change.
Okay. I think it's really critical that people understand that. So that as they get into this space, then they really need to understand what am I getting into? And why am I getting into it? Now, coming back to you still, you've now transitioned from frontline emergency humanitarian responder into leadership. Yes. Where did it start from? Now, the transition. And how was it?
Transition.
Yes.
And let me tell you that my most fulfilling days were the days when I was working in the front line of implementation.
Yes.
Because I could see.
Yes.
I could use all the senses that people touch. I could feel that things. This is what we need to do, and sometimes I estimate that I've seen more than 5 million children through my hands, especially in achieving the good nutrition all through.
Yeah.
Then something kept on knocking my mind. This work that you're doing, you are addressing the symptoms.
Yes.
This work that you're doing is you're addressing the symptoms. Malnutrition is symptomatic to something.
So you've transitioned from the frontline humanitarian responder to your current role of leadership. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So I was saying that I realized that in the work that we are doing, and as indicated that being in the front line is one of the most fulfilling work that I've done because they are able to see change. But the realization that this work, these issues, these challenges need to be addressed. You need to go to the root causes.
Yes.
And of course, even if I had to be there for 1,000,000 years, of course, which is not possible, without addressing the root causes, then the problem malnutrition will definitely continue. Yes. So the transition came by moving towards how do I participate or contribute towards addressing the root causes of malnutrition. So, and that is when I transitioned from being, frontline implementation advocacy, because I had gathered enough evidence. Let's say, of course, evidence is still there. Experience, I've gathered enough experience. There's enough evidence, networks. I know I've been able to engage as many people as possible. So, but during the program implementation, I saw that I can use this experience now to be an advocate.
Okay.
Yeah. And an advocate works on behalf of someone who, you see, unatetea. We use Kiswahili. So I came to this level to say that how do we address, those very, problems, challenges that are putting our people.
Yes.
And that's where now I am in terms of trying to look at issues around policy, programs, decisions. How do I influence decisions at any level? At community, national, and global level.
Yeah. So I think you're the best person who can talk to us about policy, but also looking at the realities around policies, because we need to understand some of the difficulties that we are facing between policy commitments and lived realities. So having been on both ends, what do you think is ailing us in terms of implementation of policies, or what are the challenges between these policy commitments and the lived realities? You develop policies in this side, but then cannot be able to inform any impact at community.
Yeah, but challenge of policy. So first, let's just say that if you look at the field that where we are in nutrition, we've not had adequacy in policy to address everything. We had policies that will definitely address aspects of malnutrition or nutrition as a sector. And I think the harmonization, and one of the things is that first, the harmonization and ensuring that we are harmonizing our policy, interventions, policy commitments, and then aligning them so that you have a center. And you have a center. At the same time, I think government will always say, competing tasks, funds are not enough, all those kind of things, so that you are not able to get what you want. Another thing that I think that ails most countries, especially developing, and all those is accountability.
Yes.
So you will hear, even when you do advocacy, sometimes you hear the government has committed to allocate this money. But when you go and do budget tracking, sometimes you don't find that expenditure. And the government definitely will come and say maybe there are emerging issues, all those kind of things. But that accountability process to ensure that once you allocate funds, then it's followed through to implementation. Then also implementation needs to be done right.
Yes.
It's not just that you've been allocated funds, you go out there without a better plan, without what is it that you want to achieve. So then you need to run through the allocation, implementation, looking at the outcome. So even the policy, framework, a framework that tells us this is what we want to achieve and how we want to achieve it, and then monitoring, even evaluating, assessment. We achieve what are the learnings. You don't usually very many times find people sitting to analyze their policy in terms of what do you. Of course, they do policy reviews are had sometimes, but getting even the learning out that's there. That this policy, we want to achieve this. This is the amount we are looking for, but we got this. This is what we got. This is the innovations we had, and this is the gaps still exist, and this is how we want to address them. That kind of accountability actually.
Great quarter. No, I honestly, I completely agree with you because, policies really define what needs to happen, and they identify government priorities. And usually when I engage with people, I tell them that, if it's not on a government policy, then government has not prioritized it. Yes. So you might make a lot of noise, and it doesn't mean that government will not do it. Government will do it based on goodwill of the person who is there. But you see, when there is transition, then it's forgotten, because when the person transitions out, the person who had the goodwill transitions out, they transition out with everything. But if it is designed in a policy, then that level of continuity is actually there. When it comes to the budget making process, if it is not in a policy, then it becomes very difficult for it to be financed. And I'm not saying it cannot be financed. Still, it can be financed, but based on goodwill. So the issues of sustainability really are not there. And I'm glad that today, this week and next week, we are going to develop the nutrition and dietetics policy that will help us align, harmonize, but also build accountability framework. Because again, without the accountability framework, things also don't just work. Yes.
And people need to account to something. And of course, you have your own responsibilities, the commitments are there. Then the framework provides a means of auditing. Do we do this? Did we achieve? And all those kind of things. And I agree with you completely that nutrition as a discipline or as a sector, when you look at it, as one that a lot. You will have a very fragmented, you find nutrition in agriculture, nutrition in health, nutrition everywhere. But now the aspect we are looking at, even as we're working on this nutrition dietetics policy, is to try and harmonize that. First, have a one document that will define what is it that we are talking about, nutrition. Then also recognize that nutrition is more sectoral, and then harmonize other policies together. Then have a unified way of for working together. And one of the very key things that, as you said, is that even as we have that policy, then you have a framework for accountability that is also agreeable among the sectors. So that if you sit somewhere, you say that water was responsible for this, and they allocated this funds, and this is what was achieved. And even when you are doing your analysis, you can say, yes, if washing went up, then this is a one-win. So eventually, we will be able to address this issue.
Now, Dancliff, you have a lot that we can talk about. And I know we can have like episodes that we can talk about your experience. But I really don't want to close this without you talking to us about the Leadership Award and about ACF. And I must admit, once an ACF, you are an ACF. I was in ACF. I'm an ACF, and so tell us about this Leadership Award.
It came as a surprise to me. In around, I think the early 2025, mid 2025, around the June, if I'm not wrong, I got, so my country director, Keith, calls me and tells me there's something here. Yeah, but we like it.
Which country director?
Action against Action against Tanga Kenya. Keep it dial. And thank you, sir, for that information. I think also for the leadership. So then we met, and they told me that you've been selected as our bureau to get the leadership award. And essentially, it just means that probably you one of the staffs that had one of the greatest contributions in delivery of services and in all the work that you are supposed to do. So the letter was more of that you awarded this for your work on community advocacy. And I was like, oh yeah. What happens is that I have had to work with the community closely, and I've always been I've tried to be very clear on what are the issues of the community, so that even before I had this position as an advocate, or in the advocacy, I was already talking on behalf of the community. In the meetings that we used to have, in my social media engagement, it was all about what we are doing for the community and the issues and the challenge.
Yes.
So we, of course, we've had a lot of work around advocacy, and we've seen a lot that has happened, especially on community level.
Yes.
Community accepting, adopting practices, and communities even coming and say, yes, we can see that this is the best way to go. And of course, that's a really greatly worked towards reducing malnutrition in some of the areas where we work. I've seen some of the media, we've done some of the pieces that have gone out in the media indicating where community themselves, they're saying, in this community village, we used to have an average of 16 children that were malnourished. But after working through with the community action against hunger and the government, we've been able to reduce this to an average of just one child. So that kind of work is the work that really makes me happy.
Okay.
And everywhere I go, I become an advocate for the communities.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So in your story, I'm picking something really, really encouraging. One is about intentionality.
Yes.
You need to be intentional in terms of what you want to do, because then you get to like it. Second is consistency. I think you've been very consistent in terms of the work that you do. And I remember when you're coming into SCF, I was there, and I knew that there was something about Dancliff.
Yeah.
Yes. And when you are being recruited, when I was recruiting you,
yes, we will disclose.
when I was recruiting you, yes, I knew that Dancliff would do very well. And I remember the area where you are supposed to be taken to, I said, no, Dancliff needs to go to this different area because of your contribution. And I'm glad that I was not wrong.
Yeah.
Even once when I left, then you see someone still recognized what was in you. And I think the last thing that you teach us today is about being courageous. I mean, it's just being courageous. You need to be courageous about the work that you do. And at this point, I would like to ask, you've been there, you've done that. What keeps you going?
Yeah. I sometimes, I'm human, and fatigues and everything, and sometimes you feel like you want to do something else.
Yes.
But I still feel that we've not cracked how do we address malnutrition in Kenya. Problems keep on compounding. Like now we are dealing with so much climate change issues. Droughts droughts are the cycle of droughts, floods, and all those kind of things. So every other time, like you'll see the integrated first classification for acute malnutrition and acute food security. The report that came is that numbers are going up. So we are not at a point where we're going to rest. So we are the soldiers on the battleground, and we've not won this battle. So we're going to continue. But these processes, like the policy that we are working now, gives me more hope that we are going to harness our power, our resources is better enough, and then we're going to deal with this issue of malnutrition very well. And as you know, that malnutrition is one of the biggest contributor to development. Every $1 you spend in addressing malnutrition, you save $22. That's a lot. That's massive.
Yes.
So we want to ensure that we also pushing this nutrition agenda, not just to be a health, a food security. It's an economic and development agenda.
Yeah.
In fact, we are raising it above a political agenda.
Yes.
We want to see when when anyone stands up, a governor stands up, even during campaigns, we want to see malnutrition or nutrition being in the manifesto. We know it's there, but in an active way, such that the investment is there, that we are going to deal with this. And of course, once the community, everyone is well nourished, education is better, development is there, people are better, quality of life. We want to achieve that in this country.
So you want to see a community where children are born, they live, and they thrive.
They thrive. Yes. In fact, these children go to old age. Let them enjoy this quality life.
Yes.
And not the suffering that we're seeing currently our children are going through in the north, everywhere, dealing with issues of malnutrition and all that.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you so much, Dancliff. So as we close, I know there will be people who are listening, and some of them will want to join the humanitarian sector. There will be humanitarian workers who are listening and watching and would want to feel encouraged. What is it that you tell them about the contribution of the humanitarian world?
I want to go back from the word that we say.
Yes.
Being intentional,
Yes.
and I will add being deliberate.
Yes.
If you want to work the humanitarian world, sometimes it's sold as lucrative in terms of, people think maybe in the sense of fundings and all that. But this is a very difficult sector where you have to work in the most difficult areas. You have to contend with all the challenges. Sometimes in the north sometimes it's very hot, all those kind of things. So be very deliberate. Just convince yourself that you want to go there and create change. And be very specific on what change do you want. Is it in nutrition? Is it in water? Is it in food security? Once you agree on your niche, then push through. And of course, we currently understand that funding is a challenge. So you have to contend with that. But just come out, and if that is your passion, let's work together and help our communities, especially the most affected. And of course, this is working within the cardinal rule of love.
Yes.
Yeah, the Bible says, love your neighbors, you love yourself. And the Bible, that's where we have the hallmark of charity. Yeah, let's love, and let's reach out to the people that we think we feel are not getting the services they deserve, and let's be compassionate. So let's work with them. Let's ensure that they also get something, and they come out better. Yeah.
What a better place to end it.
Yeah.
The cardinal rule of love.
Yes.
And the other one was?
Charity.
The charity. And I think we are all human beings, and humanity needs to carry the day. Thank you so much, Dancliff, for sharing with us your journey, your experience, but more importantly, your humanity about the work that you do.
Yeah. Now, did they say, of course, I need to also thank my organization, Action Against Hunger, for all that they do globally and also in Kenya. It's so good to see many of my colleagues working in very extreme areas and trying to deliver services. And when I look at that, I usually I get satisfied that we are doing the right thing. And let's continue pushing, because the needs are still there. Let's continue pushing, let's continue working hard. Yeah, thank you, everyone. And pleasure to be here.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dancliff. And to our listeners, that has been very interesting. And it was not just a conversation, but it was a true reflection
of what intentionality can do, but also in terms of just how humanity still thrives in terms of ensuring that we support the less privileged. And as I said when we were starting, this is the Sun CSA table where we listen, we learn, but more importantly, we connect.
We learn, we connect. No, we learn,
We listen, and we connect.
Yes. Let's continue connecting.
And that's what we do best.
Yes.
Until next time. And I hope that we have managed to do those three. And that's what we do here. Yes, it's about the stories that we tell and the humanity above it all. Yes, thank you. And kindly subscribe. And if you want to appear on our Sun CSA table, kindly be able to reach out. Yes, thank you. And till next time.
Thank you.
Yes.
See you again.
That was great.
Connect with us.